Welcome back to Squawk Box right here on CNBC. We're going to talk about investing in your 401ks this morning because it's often an alphabet soup of choices. Probably looked at the various lists that you have available at work. But according to a new study, investors are more likely, you ready for this, to choose funds listed at the top of the list. And this so-called alphabetical bias is costing investors thousands of dollars a year. For more on this, we want to welcome Jen Itzkowitz from Seton Hall University, a professor of finance and a co-author of a new study on this very issue. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
I have to say I was floored by this idea that where the company and what's listed in the 401k in terms of your options, literally based on the alphabet, makes that big a difference.
It does make a difference. It's surprising, but the data bears it out. We find that investors overwhelmingly choose early alphabet stocks compared to later alphabet stocks that come lower on their plan menu.
And, okay, can we be honest? Does that mean everybody's that dumb?
It's not that people are dumb. It's that we're not robots, we're not computers. We have limited mental processing capacity. And so we have some...
So basically you're saying we're that dumb?
No, as you're going down and you just don't get to the end of
It's a non-conscious dumbness.
Yeah. Right.
You have an idea of what you think you'd like to invest in. You start at the top of the list, and it's called satisficing. You find something that satisfies your needs.
This goes back to the... Okay, hold on. The reason I ask this is, so we do this show every morning, and one of the things that I like to think is that we are democratizing the markets, right? And that we're trying to have fair markets, and that we want both professionals and my mother and father and anybody else who's out there to be able to invest in the markets at the same with the same information and with the same degree of success, hopefully. Really, that we
You've always...
You may not believe that.
No. I hear you, but
okay.
You've always wanted to bring... You know what you want to do?
What's that?
We just don't know where to keep him.
Who's that?
The monkey. You've wanted to bring a monkey in here.
That's true.
From the very beginning when you first came on the show, and he wants the monkey throwing darts.
To have a quarterly chimpanzee.
Because you're sure the monkey can win, but they throw other things.
I wanted to have a quarterly chimpanzee come on the set, quarterly. I've been trying to get the producers to do this for literally a decade.
So this is you democratizing the markets for everyone?
No.
You're arguing for a monkey?
But my point is...
Well, it's the same kind of
It's the same
phenomenon.
Same phenomenon. And so what should we do about it?
There's a lot of things we can do about it. The first thing is to recognize that everyone does make biased decisions.
Right.
And so the more you know about them, the more you can overcome them. So we recommend when you sit down to make your 401k
Start at the bottom,
decision,
go up or something. Start in the middle. Go
decide
up
what's
in.
important to you first.
Right.
Is risk important to you?
Yeah, but then you still get impatient as you're going down.
Minimize fees. So resort.
Resort, yes.
Resort the
Good
list.
Idea.
And then the thing that's most important to you will be at the top. And then look down the list to find the thing that
Andrew, you know how many companies name themselves with the AAs to be used to be at the top of the phone book. That's not as common anymore, the yellow pages. But an ABC company is better than...
But do this for you? I mean, this goes back to personal responsibility, right? Joe, we always have our personal responsibility conversation. Nanny state versus, those. Mm-hmm. So what's the answer here? If people literally are looking at the thing and they literally don't have the patience to get to the bottom of the list, that unto itself is a problem.
That is a problem. Employers used to provide defined benefits plans. Now that it's at defined contribution plans, they've put a huge more amount of responsibility on the individual investor. And we're not saying that they should define your benefits for you, but there is some middle ground. Employers can be advocates for their employees.
But is there a way, from a technical perspective, I know one of the things you talk about in the study, or at least from the conclusions, is this idea that potentially the employers could resort the list for you, or at least provide tools that make it very accessible to do that.
They could resort the list for you. They could choose better defaults so that if you don't want to make the decision yourself, you're already opted in, you're already chosen into a specific plan. Or they could put up a first screen that says
when you say default, then you get into a dangerous place, because if the default's fabulous, it's fabulous. If the default's not so fabulous, it's not so fabulous.
Well, defaulting to investing something is better than investing nothing. And that's what we see a lot of people are doing, that people are just underinvested.
Underinvested broadly, but that's not an alphabet bias.
That's not an alphabet bias.
That's just but this goes to the whole idea, though, about whether individuals, on the whole, I'm not talking about. I mean, we have great viewers here who care so deeply about the markets, but there's a lot of people who don't care enough, frankly, I would argue. And so if the question is, should we leave this all to people to just do what they like?
Well, I think that there's a happy medium where some good defaults are chosen for you, where your funds are sorted according to some criteria that makes sense for you, or where there's a screen that says, before you make your decision, sort according to your best criteria, and then still allow people to make their own decisions.
Okay. Jen, thank you. That is some news you can use, folks.
Okay, I think so.
Honestly, the next time I'm on the 401k plan, I'm going to sit there and I'm going to
go to the bottom.
Is there even a resort button, or do I have to actually?
There's usually a really simple resort button. This is simple and easy advice to use.
But does Vanguard and Fidelity and all these guys who manage these programs for companies, do they have technology on their sites that allow any of this to happen in a better way than is being used?
It's not your 401k. You should be, if you're going to be honest with people, it's your deferred comp plan, which is 10 times as big as your 401k.
That's another plan as well.
Right.
A lot of 401k is. Some people have 401k plans.
Yeah, but you have a limit on that, and a highly paid executive like you there's a multiple in the deferred comp. So be honest with people. If you want to be honest, that's where you should start with a lot of this stuff. Be honest. Don't just pretend you're with everybody else, using your little $2,000 IRA contribution, because you're not. You work for the New York Times. You're a big-time anchor. Am I right or am I right?
Look at my agent. My agent right here. Right. Trying to take 10% of everything is the problem. Okay.
Yeah. Talk about deferred comp.
Yes.
My agent